Hey, what's going on? You are listening to and watching today Talk About Gay Sex podcast. We are live today on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Talk About Gay Sex. I'm here with my two co-hosts, Steve Carpenter on my right.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, and we just got some wine, so we're all ready.
We got our wine. We're ready. And there's people. There's an audience.
Yeah, we've got this really cool live studio audience. But before we hear from them, on my far right is Jeremy Ross Lopez.
Hi, guys.
Not far enough right, but
Fuck off. I'm good. How are you?
Good. How do we sound over there from our studio tech over there, David? Thank you so much.
Thank you, David, for doing this for us. We appreciate it.
So today's really cool for so many reasons. One of them is we are launching our brand new membership platform called Patreon, or Patreon is the name of it. And it's for all of our listeners and all of our loyal fans. We thank you so much for being a part of Talk About Gay Sex. When I started this a year ago, I had no idea how impactful this show would be, nor do I think either one of you did.
Oh.
No, I don't think that we were ready for it either.
Are you going to talk about the most recent goal, too?
I am.
Or the most recent, not goal, but okay, I'll shut up and I'll let you drive.
Yeah. Well, what he's
Shut up, Steve.
What he's talking about is that, we really took this year seriously with content and with us, and we learned a lot about how in some capacity you actually liked hearing what we had to say at times. And although we have some amazing special guests, it means a lot to us. And we just reached 30,000 downloads in August, which,
Yay. In 1 month.
Thanks, studio audience. Yes. But it was through a lot of hard work through my co-hosts and some really great special guests. And so today we're launching this new membership platform that you can be a part of us on so many different levels. I'm just going to read you a little bit about what you can receive. And so essentially we are as many of you know, we're a weekly podcast about gay sexuality with honest conversation from myself and my co-hosts.
Honest.
Yep. We welcome special guests like Dr. Goldstein, who has been really impactful to the show about giving us HPV shots and talking about
which we have videos of and at the doctor's office, the whole thing, which will be on the Patreon page. So,
but we've also had sexologist and psychologist Justin Dewey on the show. We've had authors Cameron York, who wrote about chemsex and the dangers of that in a trilogy of books that you can read about. But we've also had other authors like Thomas Eubanks, who talked about in the 80s St. Vincent's Hospital and the AIDS ward and what that was actually like, and helping us to remember that time period. But we've had writers, bisexual writers, guests like Zachary Zane, who talked about the importance of polyamory and bisexuality and how sometimes us gay men forget about the other groups that are surrounded of us. It's not always about us.
The B and LGBT,
Exactly.
Q.
But we've had, in addition to that, we've had HIV prevention and PrEP educators like Thomas Whitfield, which he was a biggie for us, as well as Grant Roth, who educated us on the latest on how we can take control of our sexuality from a health perspective. And then we've had Aris with Jeremy and I talked with Aris.
She was a lot of fun.
If anybody,
she's fun.
You watch Strut on, I forget what network it was on.
FX. It was on FX.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so she was hilarious. And
Strut? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Posh. Never mind.
Yep. But we've had BDSM leaders like Master Joshua, who's here in the audience today, and we're going to bring him up in a little bit to talk with us. And we've had sexy porn stars like Dre Axtell, who's going to talk to us in a few minutes as well. So, but to keep this quality of content that you've come to expect, we invite you to become members of our Patreon site, where you will receive one-of-a-kind perks, and we're going to go through them throughout the episode. Think of this as that PBS episode where we are trying to raise those funds. Don't worry for those of you that are out there. You will continue to get the show as you always get it. There's no financial burden to you at all. It's just you just get to get it. But for those of you that want a little bit more, and don't we all want a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We're going to go throughout this episode. Think of it as a PBS. Get that Josh Groban DVD.
Okay, and put your phone down right now because you are not turning us off yet. We got good stuff. Now, Patreon, if I can just interject real quick. So what Patreon is going to do for us, we've gotten to 30,000 downloads a month, primarily Steve's work. That's primarily what Steve has done. Yes, Jeremy and I have worked as well, but Steve does the coordination. He puts a lot of time into this. We want to take it to 50,000 and past. So in order to do that, we're going to need some funding to do so. And what the Patreon page is going to do is it's going to provide us some funding. And for that funding, which is not going to be expensive, you get extra content and extra things from us. So that's the nutshell of it.
Fun stuff, yeah.
Yes,
all the
stuff.
Juicy stuff, fun things that aren't included in the original podcast will be extra content for the Patreon.
Exactly. And on that note, I want to actually, Jeremy and I could share a story today that we were getting ready for today, kind of preparing for the live podcast. And we were, hold on. Can you reconnect?
Oh, Facebook.
Maybe if one of you could go on Facebook just to make sure that we're live. Can you,
Frozen.
Did it just happen? We're back?
Up.
Okay.
Oh, the blue light's on there, so
Okay,
yeah, we're back.
There we go. Oh, and we're back.
and let us know if you're
and we're
hearing
back.
us, David.
Okay. La 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 la
Hello,
la
look.
la.
We're really
Minor glitch
grassrootsing it today. Yeah, you can hear it.
Okay,
Oh,
awesome.
Nice. Cool.
Perfect.
Cool.
Good.
Cool.
Okay, so we're back.
So
we got a call in the middle of getting ready today, and the first one, it was from Germany, and so of course we were both like flagging it, like, oh, just don't answer it. And then they called again, so Steve picked it up, and it was actually one of our listeners who we've spoken to over email before, and he just thanked us pretty much for what we've put out, that he enjoys listening to our whole thing, and he lives in...
He actually lives in
he
Germany.
is in Germany at the moment,
but for whatever reason, he talked about homophobia with whatever town we didn't have a lot of time to get into it, but he was just really thanking us, and we were just really grateful that it happened on a day today that we were launching our platform.
and we weren't expecting it, so we didn't really know what to say or how to handle
we didn't
it.
say
And
this guy in
at
Germany.
first we thought it was a telemarketer, so we were like, oh, what do you want? And it totally wasn't.
Telemarketer
And it
from
was
Germany.
Yeah.
But what we're also celebrating today, what everybody should be celebrating today, did you all know that it's back to school day? I mean, it's officially anybody who goes to college or goes to school, today was officially back to school day. And that's why we called it Back to Sex Day. And like any good student, we have goals, right? We're not just blindly going into our parents, our daddies want us to have goals so that
Our
we
masters.
ace. And so we want to set goals for the semester or quarter that is ahead of us, and so that we're not blindly going into this semester. We've all set goals, sex goals for this coming semester, and we want you to also take the challenge. So in this episode, and I want you guys to look on our Facebook page to make sure that we're, because we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
We're going to bring up people. We're going to share with you our own sex goals and they can be anything. I mean, they can be crazy, wild, as opposed, and they could be celibacy. I mean, it could be anything and in between. So we're going to be...
No sex is a sex goal.
Right.
Yeah.
So we really want to hear from you, and we also want to get
Definitely not mine.
Right.
Well, hello.
Exactly. And so I guess we should just start with myself, like some of my sex goals for this coming semester and what I've been preparing for all summer long. But I mean, yes, on one level, in one level, actually, because Carpenter, you and I have done so much work with Dr. Goldstein and some of these, and talking to so many different doctors, and I've been interviewing authors, that my health has become so important to me. And I, like a lot of men, I don't love to run to the doctor, or I don't love to get
Blood work
tested
done
as
and-
much as I should.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a male thing at times. I don't know, or at least
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, women, I think a little bit are more in tune with themselves with that. So one of my sex goals is to, make my doctor, my general practitioner, a friend, and be a little bit more open about my health and my general health, which is important, but also my sexual health too. And I think for too long, I've just sort of, I'll just get the HIV, home kit and do that, and I'm good because I
Yeah.
work out. And so one of my sex goals for this semester is taking control of that, because I just think, we would be I would be a crock of shit if I had all these doctors on, and then here I am not, listening to them.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah.
such great doctors.
No, yeah, they are great doctors, and yeah, taking your health concerns seriously is a great goal.
Absolutely.
It's a
Jeremy's
great goal.
really.
But is that a sex goal?
It is, because it involves my sex.
Okay.
I mean, I can't have great sex if
Yes,
I'm not
if your health
healthy.
is not well.
That's
yeah.
true.
Or really not knowing. I mean, I might be totally
yeah.
healthy,
Yeah.
but just the unknown.
I'm big on
and
that. I always have been. I always get tested regularly and
Yeah, and you should.
checked up on everything.
You're really
And
good.
just
You're
be-
also really good with that too.
Yeah, and be honest with your doctors. If they always say, "Are you sexually active?" Yes. Do you use condoms? Answer them honestly. They're not going to slap your hand and say, "Oh, you should be using condoms." We know that, but that doesn't
Yeah,
always
if you
happen.
say 50-50
So-
or you say
You say whatever. Just be
Yeah.
honest, because that's what's going to help you with your health.
yeah.
Lying to them isn't going to help you at all.
Absolutely. Okay, so today we have a live studio audience here. Can we hear from you guys?
Yay!
Thank you. We're going to hear from you in a little bit too. We want to hear some of your sex goals for this semester or quarter, whatever you're calling it. We're going to hear from you guys.
Quarter.
Yeah.
But
Semester.
I'm going to read to you somebody that actually just wrote in a little while ago, or earlier today, and he said that it was okay that I read this. He says, let me get to his question real quick. Okay. And then I want to hear from all of you. So here he goes. He's 55, bi, cis man. He's coming out of a very long-term relationship. He got into the apps a couple years ago and started meeting guys. He went to a sex party and topped this young guy who was 23 and they had strong chemistry. They've been dating exclusively now for 3 to 4 months. He's torn though, because they enjoy each other's company, but he says, but I don't want to get into a long-term relationship with him because of our age difference. We've talked and he doesn't see a problem. He doesn't see a problem, but I feel it will be, if not now, in a couple of years. So we've mutually adopted the philosophy that let's just live in the moment. I told him I had to see other people, but I have limited emotional capital and don't desire to see anyone when I'm seeing him. But I feel I need to find someone more similar in age. It's just there are and he put so many guys in their 20s online and much fewer guys in the 40 to 60 range. Plus, when a cute 20-something wants to have fun, I want to, so I still end up only meeting young guys. Help. Signed, older, but still having a lot of fun.
What's wrong with having fun?
I mean, good.
You know?
I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't.
If you're having fun with somebody and you have a good time with them, age is a number.
Yeah.
Age is a number.
I
and
think
age
that
is a
sounds
state
like a
of
hang
mind.
up a little bit. Like
Age
it
is a state
sounds
of
like
mind.
he's stuck on the number and he doesn't need to be.
Age is a state of mind. If
I
you are
think it's
having a
more
good time
about-
with this person and you're relating to each
Yeah.
other, so what?
Enjoy your time with the person,
Exactly.
whether they're 30 years difference or what. It doesn't matter, I don't think.
Right.
Live in the moment. Exactly.
And if you really were out of a long-term relationship, I mean, taking your time, communicating, I think is one thing we've learned so much on this show.
Yeah.
Is that the more you communicate and tell whomever you enter a relationship with, like, this is where I'm at. And even you could even tell that person that, listen, I have concerns of our age difference. I don't think that person will run away necessarily if you even communicate that, right?
And clearly, the younger kid is definitely very interested. So I would say run with it, and I mean,
have
enjoy
a good
it,
time.
and have
Exactly.
fun.
Don't let it be a hang up.
Don't think about what's on the apps and what's not. If you met this person, then enjoy your time with them, and if not, then
If you have an open relationship, fine.
Yeah.
You want to go do, have sex with other 20, 30-year-olds, whatever. If that happens, cool.
Well, he didn't make it
whatever.
he definitely didn't make it seem like
Well, yeah,
this.
he said when he's with him, he really just wants to be with him.
Right, but what I was going to say
It's fine.
was he didn't make it seem like the younger one really is pressuring him.
No,
to be
he
in
doesn't
this.
seem like he is.
So as long as he's
so
not,
I say just enjoy it, and I mean, enjoy the moment and carry on with it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, do you guys, anybody here have anything to say about that off the top of your head? Let us know.
Or is age
crickets,
just a number?
crickets. Okay.
Okay, good.
Studio audience says
I agree.
age is just a number. Yeah.
I agree. Well, yes, Brian. So someone in our audience is playing devil's advocate. You're welcome to come to the mic. Okay. We'll repeat it.
I agree completely.
He agrees.
It's just a number. But that's not the mindset that this guy's in right now.
Right. You're right. That's not the mindset he's in right now.
So
He's focusing on the age.
right.
When
And for whatever reason, he is focused on the age, which suggests
Yes.
that he may not be in a space where, in his life right now, where he is okay with that. Which
So-
might suggest that he needs to find that space before he can really enjoy the age is just a number sort of way.
yes.
Can you repeat
So
his
so
answer?
what Brian said is that if you're in a space where age bothers you, then you need to look at that and say, why does this bother me, and figure that part out, because as we've all been saying, age is a number. And you're also talking about maturity levels of people. If this is, I've known 20-year-olds that you'd say, oh my God, it's like talking to a 50-year-old man here, because he's so intelligent and he's so calm and he's so mature. And then I've seen 60-year-olds who are like, oh my God, did he get past the age of 12? So
You're right. And the other thing is that I've noticed is that when somebody's in a long-term relationship, they need that time to really, and I've noticed sometimes people don't allow that time to really be single again. Like you really have to allow the pain to set in, that
Yes.
like the breakup set in, and that's not easy.
you need to recover.
So to run maybe to another, you can have all the fun you want, but you need to allow that time to happen, and then be open to whatever could happen.
Yeah.
And then lastly, what we keep learning on this show is communicate. Like, the more, like, you cannot stress that enough. Like, the more you communicate,
It helps
with-
every relationship in your whole
and
life.
although we say it all the time, it's like when you're in that moment, it's like, sometimes we forget about, like, just communicate your point.
And you definitely are put in awkward situations, especially with a sexual partner, with communication and questioning whether you should say this, whether you shouldn't, about your status or whatever, or getting an STD. But I always feel it's very, very important to just be upfront and communicate. And it builds a stronger bond for you and anyone that you are in a friendship with, family with, sexual with. It's really just so important.
Absolutely. So once again, we are live today on our Facebook page. Yay. Hello out there. We're launching our brand new membership platform, which we're so excited about it. And you can go to patreon.com, patreon.com /talk about gay sex, where you're going to see all of our platform perks that you can. We've got everything from $5 to it goes up. I won't tell you how far it goes up, but some of the perks that you're going to get are down and dirty after show, and that's where we keep the podcast going with some of our special guests, not all of them, but the ones that are willing and ready, and talk a little
Which is
bit
most of them.
dark and dirty with us.
Dark and dirty. Yes.
You're going to get this extra podcast that is like you and I, Carpenter, have done a couple.
We've done a couple of them,
And it's
just
fun.
It's fun because it's completely uncensored. I mean,
Yeah, it's
we're
raunchy
uncensored
and
anyway.
it's after hours.
Exactly,
And it's like,
it's raunchy and it's after hours, and it's like, okay, so when you did this guy, blah blah blah, So yeah, it's much more detailed.
So that's just one of the perks you're going to get, and we're going to go through them all in this hour. But I want to know from you, Carpenter, it's the new school year.
It's the new school
I need
year.
to know a goal because I need you to be teacher's pet.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you going to tell mommy over here that you're going to?
Okay, well, I'm going to try not to fuck the teacher this year, but
Don't fuck the teacher. Don't
fuck the teacher. Yeah, the whole audience is saying, why not? Why not?
I have a good story about one. Yeah, but
Because she is not compatible with me. Anyway, my goal, I guess, for this semester is not to have any penicillin shots.
well, that is a good goal.
That's a good goal. No
But
STDs.
life happens. So
No
But you know
STDs.
what? It happens,
Yeah.
and I won't. If it happens, I won't punish myself. But I'll just, okay, But yeah, the goal is not to.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, we'll get to you in a minute, but let's bring up a special guest while we're here. Master Joshua has been one of our prized guests on this show, giving us so much advice on Moseville. Yep, there's your mic. Hi, how are you doing?
Hello, how are you? How's everyone?
You're like our guru for this show. Yes, I know, right? I mean, he is. To so many people, he really is. And I invite you to listen to many of our podcasts. He's
Okay.
been on so many of them.
tell him.
But my question
Can
to
we?
you,
Can you
David?
hear us? Okay. Can you hear?
He's not on
Can you hear?
camera.
oh, but can you still hear us? Okay, yeah.
Okay. You can
we're-
hear us. Okay.
So-
Camera's been adjusted. Here we go.
Yeah. So one of my questions to you, and I actually want to hear your goals for this semester, but because you're a master, so many people look up to you. You're kind of our teacher. What would you like to see from your students this coming semester that you haven't seen or walls?
Oh no, absolutely. Well, let me start by saying congratulations on your launch for your next venture.
Thank you.
Yes.
The platform that you guys provided me for helping others has been astronomical, and I'm
Thank
thankful
you.
for
Good,
that. Because
good.
if
That's
it
the
wasn't for you
intent.
guys, I wouldn't be able to touch the people that I've been able to. So
That's
thank
the
you
intent.
for
Good,
thank you for
good.
everything you guys have provided. For the people in my life that come to me and my clients and my friends, for them, I want them to push their boundaries. To explore areas that they didn't think that they would explore. For example, I have a gentleman who he's a gay male, and he's come to a point where he's entertaining the idea of bottoming to a woman, not sexually, but in domination. And for his age and for his life experiences, for him to come to me and tell him that we've gotten to this point now where he's comfortable with the idea of, that's a life-changing thing for me. And if everyone I know
Expanding your limits. Yeah.
if
absolutely.
everyone I know were to take that one extra step into exploring something that they never considered, that's my job done. I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm thankful for it because they've allowed me to guide them this far.
And exploring those things, those deep dark secrets that you don't tell anybody else.
100%.
And just really experiencing yourself.
And from the sounds of that, you would help build their relationship even stronger and closer by him opening up to
Yeah.
his wife or his partner about wanting that in general.
Absolutely. And
But it takes them speaking to you, somebody who's a little bit more experienced in maybe guiding them through the process of opening up about that.
I mean, I have to.
Well, no, but also as a protector, that you're gonna
Yeah.
help guide that so that
Exactly.
it's going to be the
Yeah.
right experience.
I mean, we sat down,
Yeah.
we discussed it over dinner, and it was almost like he was asking permission for it. And I'm like, look, you're okay with the steps that you're taking. You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with
You're all set.
with you. Let's just do it one step at a time, and I'll walk you through it, essentially.
And this sounds like it's been a process for him. In other words, he didn't just come to this. He's been working with you. He's been, if we were to take that model of studies and school, like he's in his junior year in some way. And no, I'm just
No,
saying,
yeah,
if we were to
correct.
take that model, it wasn't like he just came all of a sudden and said, oh, I really want to, bottom for a woman. It's like this has been his schooling. And I guess my point is that sexuality, sometimes we sort of don't take it seriously, but sexuality is a part of, hopefully we're always working, or I'm always working on myself on a multitude of levels, and sexuality is one of those levels.
Absolutely,
And
100%.
he sounds like he's evolved to this level and was asking as a mentor or teacher, am I ready for this? And you
Exactly. That's exactly what it was like. And, it's moving for me because I've started with him from day one, and I've watched his progression, and to the point where we're at now, it's just, I didn't see it coming at all. And it was
Even better.
Exactly.
Even better. So he's thinking on his own, and he's exposing those deep dark secrets that
But
excellent.
that's my goal for
Good.
anyone in my life, is to get to these limits and to feel them out and to see how concrete they are, and as long as it doesn't compromise your morality, work with it, go with it. There is no wrong answer as long as everyone's consenting to
Exactly.
what's present.
Would you say that there's always fear to all of our goals, like in general, like with any goal that we have, or definitely regarding sexuality? Would you say that there's some sort of fear that surrounds pushing to that goal?
Oh, 100%. Imagine this gentleman, he's a gay male in his late 60s, and he's been gay his entire life, no experiences with women. And this is the first desire he's had to engage with a woman. The
Wow.
fear of, am I not gay because of, and I don't question it. It's not my question, but the fear that he's had to this point, I can only imagine. I mean, there's fear in everything, in every decision, unknown decision that we make.
And for a gay man to be submissive to a woman, I mean, we're not talking, just regular sex. We're talking, domination
Right.
scenarios, which are, is different.
Correct.
That's really quite,
And I was
That's-
moved. I mean, it's amazing. So that's my goal with anyone in my life, is I want you to get to these uncomfortable areas and push through it. And turning to my homework.
Yeah, we want to hear from you too. Like, what are some of your? I mean, because oftentimes we forget about our teachers. That
Yes, our teachers
you
are-
are
teachers
a
are
sexual
people too.
being as well. And I mean, do you have anything that you could share with us that you might be exploring or working on?
I've done it all. No, of course.
liar.
For myself, the limits the things I want to learn for myself is to let go more often and let others lead the way. When I can take my hat off and be the submissive or the bottom in that role, in that moment, because all too often I'm in my head of everything that's going on, and I don't
Controlling
get
and-
to relinquish it. And that's my homework. That's been my homework for some time now, and that's
Flip
what I'm
the
working on.
script of being not overthinking it or thinking about any of the steps towards any of it.
Or
Trusting someone else.
Trusting someone to not be in control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's where I'm pushing myself
Cool.
this school year.
This school year. I love it. And once again, we'll list it, but for people that want to follow you, what's the best way to follow you so that we can keep up with you?
On Instagram and Facebook, it would be Master Joshua NYC. And you can tune into my website, masterjoshua.com. But Instagram is probably gets the most traffic, and it has the most up-to-date information. And I post a shitload of fucking pictures.
He does. Some really hot,
He does,
really
yeah.
hot pictures.
Yeah, thank
does.
you very much.
Yeah.
But again, congratulations, guys. And
Thank you.
I'm very excited for you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you.
Mr. Joshua. And once again, we are live tonight and we are launching our brand new membership platform, patreon.com/talk about gay sex. And you too can be a power top at a incremental level of a certain fee. We've got a power bottom level. We've got the sex level, which I personally like. And that's where you'll get things like, for a lot of people that listen to podcasts, you don't realize is that we have some listeners, believe it or not, that love to listen to us the day we come out every Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning. Yep.
And what people have found is that if you can get that episode a day before, you're like ahead of the game. So at some of our tiers, like our sex level, you'll actually get it on Monday before everybody else, ahead of schedule, and before the Tuesday crowd gets it. And we're happy to provide that.
So you can stand at the water cooler and say, oh, well, when you listen to that this afternoon when it comes out,
Exactly.
make sure that you note.
But since we're divulging all, it's back to school, back to sex as we're calling it today on this live streaming day. Jeremy Ross Lopez,
Yes.
please, you are on the hot seat. What is your goal this school semester?
So I have two personal goals. So one of them would be
Here come the goals. Look
fuck
out.
off, bitch. So one of them would be to embark on a long-term relationship because I haven't been in one in a while. So I think that would be very
Aw.
interesting.
you know,
if
you
I,
just put that out there, and
He's
out of
single.
all of us,
He's
Jeremy
I'm
single.
accepting
Most-
applications.
Like he gets so much mail from all of us, the most, of course, because you're beautiful, and
Thanks.
so you just put it out there. But good for you.
So anyways, that's one of my goals for this semester is to embark on a long-term relationship with get to know somebody, maybe be friends first and then ease into more. And then another sex goal that I want to embark on is public sex, having more public sex in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah. So I actually used to practice.
Just in New York City.
Well, maybe not just in New York, all over the world, traveling. But when I first moved to New York, I was 17, and I felt like I did more risky things then. And I feel like now it's just always in a bed and more normal. I mean, it's still great sex, but I find that that is a goal for myself that I've set. And I just have had more interest as of
Not
late.
necessarily riskier sex, just riskier scenarios.
Yeah, but like in
Yeah.
Central Park and stuff like that. Maybe the Brooklyn Bridge.
Or
Yeah.
what's that area in? I'm looking at some of my
The
audience.
Rambles.
The Rambles. Thank you.
I don't know anything about it.
People that know New York City, or if you're in Provincetown,
Rambles is in Central Park.
Fire Island,
The Meat
which is
Rack
called
at
the
Fire
Meat Rack.
Island.
What do
The
we
Dick
call
Dock
it?
at,
Dick Dock.
yeah.
Yeah, back. I love it. I love that. Goal.
Yeah, so maybe those experiences would be
Where
with
does one
somebody
go in
new
the
that I meet.
Hamptons?
Yeah.
Where does one go for sex in the Hamptons?
Hollow Beach.
Bitch
What
in a
is it?
hedge.
Hollow Beach.
2
Mile
Mile
Hollow Beach.
2 Mile
So
Hollow
in the
Beach.
Hamptons, we're hearing from our audience members that
Yes,
you go to
because they have a place in the Hamptons. 2 Mile Hollow Beach.
2 Mile Hollow Beach. All right.
So Jeremy.
So
is,
all these places.
So Jeremy's looking to have more public sex and to get a boyfriend. And well, show them if you show them your exceptionally long tongue. Do a profile. You know, one of those.
No.
No.
Once again, we are live and
Next.
we are excited to launch
I'm
our
gonna
new
pay for that.
Patreon site. I feel like we are PBS here. We are, which I used to watch those, by the way. I mean, Jeremy didn't know what we were talking about, but we were talking
had no
about
idea.
those. He didn't. Like, I used to watch.
I was
Did you
like,
guys used to
what?
watch those like PBS things? And they're like,
Oh, they
all
still
right,
have
you
them.
guys- And
They still have
I
them.
know, and
I've gotten a life since then,
and
so I don't
used
watch
to
them.
study those because I think someday I knew that I was going to be sitting up here doing my own like thing, and I loved them. That was like, I mean, I was meant for this kind of thing. It's like my favorite thing. But one of the perks that you're going to get at the diva level, you're going to get my true confession. They're called The Confessional, and it's a podcast. You're gonna get The Confessional, and it stems from my Catholicism back in the day. About if anyone ever grew up Catholic, you know what going to the confessional
Forgive me,
was
Father,
like.
for I have sinned. It's been
But-
2 weeks.
Yes, exactly. You had to say that. You had to say
Yes.
that. But there was this thing about the confession, like where I went to, and we always had the old church side. And there was this door you'd go in, and it was like this amazing room. Jeremy, you would love it because it was like our dressing room that you and I would like love.
Yeah.
And it was
You
like
could have sex in there.
old-
You would like that.
Oh, I'm sure.
and you were in this room, and there was a little pew, and then there was a screen, and a priest was on the other side, and he heard your real life confessions, and you had to really tell him what you were repenting for.
And then he was like, "Yeah, let's fuck."
No, I did not. I mean, back then, no, I did not say that.
No, the priest did.
Even though they're in trouble these
Just
days.
kidding.
They always say you rebel against everything that you grew up with. But I'm calling it my confessional. And
I like that.
And it's my confessional.
Okay, Madonna.
It'll be a podcast. Yeah, right. I'm always inspired by Madonna. You'll get my extra podcast on the diva level of all my sexcapades that I've gone through in the last couple weeks.
Oh, and
it
there's
comes
so
out-
many.
It comes out. It's a new podcast. It comes out every 2 weeks, and I'm really excited about it. And I'll have some guests on there too. But you're only going to get that at the diva level because you got to be a diva. But right.
And Blanche.
And you are. And David, please check for questions or anybody that is reaching out to us. But we had somebody from Instagram that wrote to us tonight that I wanted to get to what he asked. And Nico asked, let me just get to this real quick. He listens to us at work. And he had okay, right. Okay, let's go. Shoot. Oh my gosh. It's kind of a long one, you guys. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Oh my gosh.
They don't have a choice.
Jeremy, can you read it?
Sure.
'Cause it's like really long. And
She
I
doesn't-
don't have my glasses on.
She doesn't have her
I
glasses.
don't have my glasses on, yeah. And
So, oh wait. Hi, my name is Nico.
read out to our audience here too.
I know I am.
Project.
He's got
I
a
have a
microphone.
question hopefully you're able to answer. So in my mid-30s when I was younger, I was mostly a top. Now that I'm older, I feel more comfortable with myself and my sexuality. However, I feel like I restrict myself from the pleasures of sex. I've tried hooking up with a guy or two on Adam for Adam now, and again, I don't know if it's my luck, but it seems that I have bad luck with those guys. Last two guys I hooked up with both gave me an STI, met them both years apart, makes me ward off sex because of it. Part of me would love to just hook up with guys off the app or but the bar, but I'm scared of getting another STI. One of my friends recently invited me to a pool party where people played with one another. There was this one really hot guy at this party. He was being he was being barebacked by every other guy. Looked like he was having a blast being fucked. I just looked in amazement. Not only was I so turned on by what was happening, but part of me wanted to be him. I wanted to be the guy with all the attention. I wanted to be the bottom. However, I wasn't able to let loose because I was scared of getting STIs. How would I be able to enjoy sex again and not worry about catching something? Of course I know about condoms, but even that is not 100% when sucking cock. I'm scared of having sex, guys. It's been a few years since the last time I had sex. I've played safe, but still got an STI. I don't know what to do. I have a dildo I sometimes use, but it's not the same thing as having a real cock. How do you guys do it? I need help. Honestly, I just want to be fucked and not worry about catching something. Any advice? I just want to have
We got it.
hair gay sex. in
And
my,
we
my
hear
mid
you.
30s, and I'm not having sex. Love your show, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. Oh,
Yeah, we get
okay.
it. No, and thank you that he loves the show.
So
No,
Nico.
thank you.
So-
No, really, thank you.
So Nico,
Jeremy, do you have thoughts first off?
I think that STIs, you can get them anyway. You could get them by oral. You could not. I would say don't limit yourself by the situations that you've been in previously. I would say embark on whatever it is that you're interested in getting into,
But
and deal with it afterwards. And also just live life by the moment. And I always live by YOLO. And I think that limiting yourself or being super worried doesn't give you the experiences that you would gain not.
Yeah, but
Okay, what's YOLO?
You only live once.
Okay. No, I don't know any of these stuff. Okay, I really don't.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
so out of it when it comes to that. But good.
Well, okay, so there's a couple of things in this. First of all, I don't know anybody who uses a condom for oral sex. I'm sure there are people that do, but you know, I'm sorry, it's like sucking on a dildo. It tastes horrible.
No, it's like
Right.
sucking on a plastic bag.
Exactly.
And we're not
yes,
advocating
and you are
one
sucking on a
way or
plastic
the
bag.
other.
We're not
You know how I love-
advocating.
you know how I do a disclaimer nowadays
we are not.
all the time?
We are not advocating one way or the other. But
We
I
are
don't know
not,
anybody.
because we are not sex experts or doctors. Because we've gotten accused of that, and I just want to put
and
it
we're
out
not.
there.
This is my
No,
opinion.
we're definitely not experts.
This
Yeah.
is my
No,
opinion.
sorry, I just will always put a disclaimer.
So, you know, you could, yes, there are STDs, STIs out there. And you know what? The best way to not get an STI is to find somebody and settle down with them, you know, because, you know, that's, you're having sex with the same person all the time and you're exclusive, you're not going to get an STI.
Well, easier said
However,
than done.
easier said than done. But again, too, if you're looking at this party and you've got this one guy who's, you know, who's being barebacked by everybody, well, he's probably going home with an STI. But,
Yeah.
you know, but he probably also knows that. Otherwise, he isn't gonna do that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, but when I heard that I was going to say lengthy, but that narrative,
The narrative.
of his story,
Short story.
was did you get that he really he wants to just freely just get fucked?
Yes, but
and-
that's why I'm saying.
Okay, I just wanted to understand
Yeah.
that because I can relate to that at times. I've been there. I understand that, and you can have that feeling with condoms and play that part, and that's
you
a whole
can, but
thing.
he doesn't want that.
Well, no,
he
but
wants it without condoms,
He
is
didn't
what he's saying.
No,
he
he
just,
didn't necessarily say he
Yeah.
wanted it. He said he noticed people being barebacked,
Mm-hmm.
but he said what I got out of that was he wanted the feeling of being freely being
Yeah.
fucked. He
Right.
never. He just
Without the worry.
Right, but
Without
he
the
noted.
worry.
But yes, did he notice that people were getting bareback? Yeah, but I think he's more about the feeling and that vibe of just having that thing, and you can have that
dropping all
with-
your guards and being open, being sexual.
Yeah,
and
but my point
Yeah.
is, and I do have one, is that you can have that with
Get you it,
condoms.
sweet. Get
you
too.
always do.
I do. And
Yes, he
I
does.
just think that's the root of what he was trying to feel. And if you're listening out there, to me, like you can still have that, you can create that scenario that you saw that you wanted. But if you're worried about the STI, no one's saying that condoms are going to cover everything.
No,
or that
that's why I'm saying don't make it you going into it being worried about just getting the STI, because then you're not going to live in that moment that you think this person is experiencing.
But
Exactly.
his what he wrote in is that he's gotten an STI and he doesn't want to get an STI again. And we have some audience
We have
members.
lots of hands up in the audience.
Would you mind coming up here and giving your, or just do you want to
Just
like?
let them speak from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and-
No, some might want to.
but you know,
And
also if you know, so
who are you? Why are you here? And tell us your name. And why
Okay.
should we care?
Who are you?
Right.
What
I'm,
is your
I'm
name?
no one at all. So
That's
I'm
not true, Brian.
Brian, you got to really talk into this like a big dick.
Oh wow, that jaw unhinges like a snake.
Years of practice.
Okay.
No, what I would say, and Brian, I'm just going to leave it at that for now.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got from my health practitioner was there's a difference between safe sex and safer sex.
Yes.
And if you adopt a mindset of safer sex, like these are the steps that I'm comfortable, that I'm willing to go to try to mitigate any risk that I'm going to be encountering in my activities.
Right.
With the full understanding that it's never 100%. percent
Never. The
Nothing
only 100% is to
It's abstinence.
is to only touch yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even that may carry some risk depending on where your hands were.
Exactly.
Good point.
That's very true.
So it's a myth that we've told ourselves that there is such a thing as safe 100% sex.
No.
Yes.
It
No.
does not exist.
Yeah.
Safe. There is safer sex. There is no safe sex other than abstinence.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my contribution there. Just considering just distinguishing between this idea of safer sex
Yes.
and safe sex. And if we even think back to the AIDS epidemic of the 80s, this was the language that was being used at the time. It wasn't
Absolutely.
about safe sex because everyone knew that was this chimera. This
Yeah, but
thing that did
there were
not
also
exist.
tons of people in a scenario that just abstained. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to touch anybody.
Right.
And boy, we had some nasty bitches.
I'm really glad you said that because to me, when safer sex, that I was going to say propaganda, but the messaging of that, when that came out, that made sense to me because it actually said, yes, you may or may not still get something, but you are doing the best that you have made sense with yourself and your mind in this situation. And it's more, it makes sense because it's not blindly just going into a situation without like, oh, I'm just going to do it. You're actually taking the precautions that have made sense for you. And if you do get something in those parameters that you set up within your constructs, you will take precautions to deal with that. And
as
I
well as
like
assume
that.
responsibility.
And assume
for that, too.
responsibilities.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. It was what I was trying to say.
But it's dynamic too. So
Right.
as
It's
you,
powerful.
It's powerful, and as you gain experience or as you change in your life, those boundaries or what you accept as acceptable risk that can change over time.
Right.
So you don't have to hold yourself to some sort of
antiquated.
or ostensibly objective standard of what constitutes risk,
Right.
which no one is ever going to agree on.
No, and everything is a risk. Walking down the street is a risk. Walking
Yeah.
down the street in Manhattan is a higher risk. So it's.
I mean, we all
it's-
have alcohol on this table. This is a risk, folks.
Yeah.
No, this is juice.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's back to school,
This is just
sweetie.
juice.
I mean,
Right.
I feel smart though having
Yes.
you on the platform here.
Yes. So drink your juice, Shelby.
Thank you so much.
I got it.
Did somebody else have something to say that somebody wanted to like bring up?
We had a lot of hands up.
I mean, it could be real quick.
She can stay there too, and
Yeah, you can
She-
say it from there, and we'll
Yeah.
repeat it.
I was gonna say, there seems like we had a lot of stigma behind STI, but I feel like the more you educate yourself, the more you realize that it's not some sort of stigma. Like,
Yeah.
I agree with you, it's the acceptable risk, but if you educate yourself and you understand, what you're getting
Right.
yourself into,
Educating yourself. Yeah,
and
so
you're
just
saying pretty much
repeating
you
what you're
can
saying.
lift the stigma for yourself
Yeah.
About
as
the STI.
educating.
Right.
It doesn't make you a dirty person.
No.
No, it does not make you a dirty person because you caught something.
Yeah.
Desire
If you catch
certain
the
things. And I
flu-
think that's what I was trying to say is that there's no stigma for desiring what
It's human emotion.
what
It's human.
he saw.
Human nature, I should say.
Right. What he saw was sexually stimulating to him, but there's ways that you can maybe go about it to protect yourself without getting, and then educating yourself is also what you're saying
Yeah.
about getting STIs
Mm-hmm.
is another area. And yes, somebody else has something to say.
Would you say that
Come up here. Come up.
you say
He refuses to
that
come
he's
up here.
using the excuse of STI because really he has a problem with sex? You're using this as
So you're saying he's hiding
Oh,
behind
that would be a
STIs
question for-
as.
Can you answer that? Okay.
Yeah.
So where we have a question that just came in that from somebody in our studio audience that says, he asked us, would you say that this person has a,
he's using the STI as an excuse because he has a stigma.
that maybe he's using the STI as an excuse to have
You're right. To not have sex or to
to
not,
not have sex.
Because he's
or to not bottom or whatever.
for
Yeah.
the reason. So he has this mental block in himself regarding sex, okay? And so he's using this as an excuse, the fear of getting an STI, because he really can't fully enjoy sex.
Right. Okay. So whether or not he can fully enjoy, so you're saying maybe he can't fully enjoy sex, and the STI is more of a
scapegoat.
more of a scapegoat. Yeah. Well, I mean it's hard to say because we don't know him.
It is, yeah.
We don't know him, and I mean, yes, I know lots of people who. I don't want to say he's a germaphobe because he's probably not a germaphobe, but everyone has a certain level of what they're willing to tolerate germ-wise. You know, I mean, I'm one of those people that, you know, if you double dip in the vegetable dip, I'm not going to eat anymore. That's just me. Other people, I could care less. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with a sexual thing. People are going to do what they're comfortable with and what they're not.
And before I brought you up, Master Joshua, to kind of shed some light on this, but the only thing that I would say on this that is from what I got from it, it sounds like this guy really he wants to have that kind of like, he wants to get fucked. Like
He wants to
like
get
he's
fucked. He wants to be the
seeing-
center of
sorry,
attention, which is
Facebook,
great. Which
but
is great. It's absolutely a good thing.
Right. He's seeing guys getting that are unapologetically
Throwing caution to the
allowing
wind.
themselves to bottom unapologetically, but in his past experiences, he's
But to
gotten.
my point,
Okay,
it's in his
did I get it?
head.
You,
It's in his head.
what part? And so, our,
But
our
you're
listeners,
assuming.
what part
You're-
is in his
you said-
head that you're saying?
He's saying that he's stigmatized himself.
Okay, well, I don't know. Would you mind?
The way it sounded to me was he was burned twice through sexual engagements, and now the idea of objectification is hot to him because he's watching the person being objectified. But he's not willing to take the risk to put himself in that situation, no matter how hot it is. My advice to him would be to find someone, and this is all because of the whole BDSM background and stuff, is to find a partner or someone you can explore this mind frame, because it's not about the sex, it's about the use. It's about being that object. Finding a partner, a dominant who you can relay that trust in, to make sure that all those safeguards that you're comfortable with are followed. Build a strong dynamic and tiptoe into it. You know, it's not unreachable. Just make sure that any decision you make, you build it for yourself, between yourself
you
and
understand
your
it.
partner. That you
And
know
you're
the
comfortable
risks.
with your decisions.
100%, the personal responsibility. But also, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Take it one step at a time, lay it all out, and reflect on it internally. Why do I desire to be that person? Is it because of the penetration or the attention, or is it because of the objectification and the purpose that the person is serving? You know, are they being, are they excited
Very good point.
from the actual penetration or from the use of?
Well, would you say that? Yeah, we have two people out there, but would you also say that, like, if you desire something like this writer desires, would you say that maybe they're exploring a subordinate type of role that is totally within sexuality and fine, but that they just don't know the word for it?
100%. I mean, when it comes to that level of objectification, it's
'Cause
absolutely.
but does objectification have a negative construct at times?
Well, yeah. I mean, when it's thrown out there like that, people assume it in a negative light.
Right.
Absolutely. But it's not. I mean, it's your personal desire. It's who you are and what you crave. Find a respectful outlet for that so that you don't feel bad
Right.
for feeling like this. Yeah, there's a ton of people out there that.
Well,
that
and maybe you turn objectification into subordination, which is it within the BDSM culture and acceptable within that sexual realm, right?
100%. I mean, submission and objectification, it totally falls into.
Well, but
into that.
but whether it's a bottoming thing or not, I don't know. I mean, it could be, but I know
He said he wanted to.
he said he wanted a bottom, but it may not be that he wants to be a sub, because I know an awful lot of bottoms who are not subs. You know, they are aggressive and they are pushy.
You're saying Bossy Bottom.
Bossy Bottoms. Yes. Yeah, hello. Yes, we got people holding their hand up saying, yes, I'm a bossy
Yes,
bottom.
and once again, we are live, and we have somebody in our audience. Go ahead, and we'll relay it to you guys.
As a gay man born in the early 70s, I grew up through the AIDS epidemic.
Okay, you grew up in the AIDS epidemic, yep.
So
Okay.
even when I came out and started having sex, there was always a sense of fear.
Yes, there was always a sense of fear
So
yes.
whether it's domination or not, I think there can also be a sense of just letting loose.
Right,
And
letting
not
loose
fearing
and,
sex anymore. And
Right.
someone who went on PrEP 3 years ago, I have to admit that is liberated my mind to not fear sex anymore. And
okay, so what he's saying, I'm sorry, I'm just trying not to keep too many blank spots on the, so basically you're telling us that yes, you grew up in the 70s, or you were born in the 70s, sorry, you grew up in the 80s, and there's always that fear of sexuality and fear of catching something, during the AIDS crisis, et cetera, and essentially everyone wants to get to a point where they can just let loose and be the sexual being that they are. We are all sexual beings. We all want to let loose and not be afraid.
And for him,
there were a lot of different,
but the
growing
thing
up in that
helped
era.
him- Prep.
So the thing that helped you specifically was PrEP, because it does help protect you against, the possibilities of HIV infection. It's not 100%. We're not saying, we're not saying that if you're on PrEP, you should bareback. That's not what we're saying.
Audience member,
Yeah. Yeah.
Our audience, are we clear with you that PrEP has helped you
Alleviate
become a
some
little
of
bit
the
more sexually
worry.
free?
it has helped me become sexually free, and also the U equals U study that came out, and just people knowing their status and taking care of themselves.
Knowing your status. Exactly.
More, there's a study of
Know your status. Yes.
We're getting a little bit of amen in our audience here, like knowing your status.
Know your status.
people that you're
It's important.
Well,
know your
and we
status.
do a lot on this show. We've done so much on HIV prevention and PrEP, as many of our listeners know, and as anyone knows that's on PrEP, you have to get checked regularly.
Yeah,
to
you don't have a
share your
choice because you
status.
don't get a new prescription.
You don't get a new
Right.
prescription unless
We've
you do a
also
test.
done some other episodes on how and when PrEP was to be administered and used through a certain time too. You can listen to those episodes.
We don't
If
have
you
the numbers
become
right now,
a
but the reference
member-
numbers. If you become a member,
you too can. Here I am at PBS.
Brian,
Yes, but no, thank you so much. You said so much light on that.
yeah.
And Brian, and yeah,
Absolutely, yes. We have the treatment as prevention approach, which is now the standard in medical care.
Treatment as prevention, he's saying.
Familiar with the U equals U campaign, which is undetectable equals untransmittable.
Yes.
So can you say that?
So he's talking about U equals U campaign, which is undetectable equals untransmittable. So if you are undetectable, meaning you are HIV positive, you are undetectable, which means that when they test for the amount of virus in your bloodstream, they can't find it. That doesn't mean it's not there, because the test is only good to, I don't remember how many copies per, less than 20. But if you are undetectable, it is almost impossible to transmit the virus.
It's practically.
Well,
This is the
I'm not going to say it's 100% impossible, but
World Health Organization
yes,
very recently said is that it's practically impossible.
yes, the World Health Organization has said it's practically impossible. So if you are undetectable, it is practically impossible to transmit the virus to another person.
Okay.
However,
and then
you have to get tested every 3 months. Make sure that you are still undetectable. So if you are positive,
so just like PrEP, you get
like
and that
like
speaks a
PrEP,
lot with,
Yeah.
with
if you
our
are positive,
other.
get tested, take your meds like you're supposed to on a regular basis, and if you are not
Taking PrEP gives you the power to take that into your own hands. So you don't have
exactly
yeah.
right, and by taking PrEP, you are taking that power into your own hands.
Which
so
is, I
that-
think, what a lot of
Yeah.
what we're saying in general today, and what we do on the show is hopefully empower ourselves and in our own empowerment, we're helping
Right.
others. I do want to remind you as we come to the end of our hour that we are live today. Thank you so much. Talk About Gay Sex podcast. We've launched today our brand new membership platform on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/talk about gay sex, and you can get extra perks at different tiers. You can get extra podcasts from us, and one of the last perks that I wanted to tell you about is you can actually have dinner with the three of us. And
Scary
believe
as
it or
that may
not,
be.
you listen to us babble on all night long
With your own private
with
audience,
drinks
yes.
and- yeah.
Price upon
And if
request.
you don't live here in New York City, and I see our flashing light going on, are we alive?
Yeah, we went offline.
Are we back on? We're back on.
Are we
Okay.
back on that? There we go. Okay, so
For a certain tier, and I'm just going to let you go to patreon.com/talk about gay sex for this extra. It's called Sugar Daddy. And at this level, we will fly you into New York City, put you up in a 5-star hotel. You will have dinner with the three of us, drinks with us, and you'll be on the show too.
and you'll be on if you want to be. You don't have to be on the show. You don't have to have dinner with us. You can have dinner with just Jeremy and I. And
You'll get the Josh Groban CD. I've always wanted to say that because every time I
If
watch
you-
PBS,
and if you order
they were
now.
giving away
If you
Josh
order right
Groban
now.
live
Ain't nobody got
at-
time for that
at like
bullshit.
Carnegie Hall or something. You'll get that too. I will get it for you. But before we go, I want to bring up one of our favorite guests as well. He's been one of our favorite guests of all time. He's adorable. You probably are already fans of
sweetheart,
him.
yes.
His name is Dre Axtell.
come on up.
And yes, please come up.
So while he's making his way up here, you can become a member as a power bottom. You know who you are. You can be a power top. You know who you are. You can be a diva, like this one. You can be, well, I don't know what Jeremy would fit, but
Oh, fuck you.
Twink.
a twink. There's
Just
a lot,
like this
of
one.
different levels. So
I'm not a twink.
So okay,
no,
gotta
you
talk-
are not a twink. You're talking to the
Just like
microphone.
a big cock.
Like it's a
just
big dick.
talk
Put it right
into
up to your face, girl.
All right, this semester, can you share with us? You've been such a great guest for us. Anything that you're looking forward to exploring your sexuality this coming semester?
I think sex every morning sounds like a good one. Like every single morning, like an apple a day.
Like
sex
an
a
apple,
day
an
keeps-
orgasm a day.
Dr.
An orgasm a
Ray.
day keeps what away? Keeps
Keeps a lot of things away,
keeps
right?
a lot of things away. Yeah, like
Keeps
working
the anger
out
away.
and sex is definitely my thing.
Okay.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And how this summer long, what's been? How's your summer been?
My summer has been fantastic, but can you guys believe I haven't had sex in about a year. Can you guys believe this?
What?
Wow.
I'm not even
What?
lying. I'm not even lying.
Guys.
I'm not even lying.
Seriously.
And right now I'm talking about like
But
mainly
by choice.
By choice.
Well,
I'm all
obviously.
about finding that special one, like that whole like long-term relationship thing, and just kind of like devoting yourself to like that one person.
And he's single.
And I'm single. I'm talking to someone, but yeah, I'm single. And right now I'm talking about the difference between like sober sex, completely sober,
Right.
like no G, no poppers, nothing, just like completely sober sex.
It's good like
And,
that.
You know, and
It's-
because
yeah.
we've had
It's different.
different guests on talk about chemsex, and I think that's in our community that can be a big thing. So I think that's really good that you say sober sex.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I love
sober
that.
sex.
And so many people
sober
don't
sex.
even consider poppers as, you know, there's a, oh yeah,
I
whatever.
hate
poppers.
poppers. I hate poppers. I hate
They're
poppers.
It's
old
very difficult
school.
to stay
They're
hard
old
with them.
school.
Yeah.
Real quick, how people who go to OnlyFans, tell me.
Oh yeah. So OnlyFans / Dre Axtell. That's
Dre
my thing.
Axtell. Yeah, go to OnlyFans.
Raeaxtell.
But our dear friend here had a birthday yesterday, and we wanted to wish him a happy birthday.
Yay!
We had
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dre. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Sean.
to you. Hurry up with that fucking cake.
Bring the cake. There we
Bring it
go.
over here.
Okay.
Give it a good blow, girls.
Harder. Blow harder.
Oh, girl, you can blow better than that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so
everyone.
much for joining
Thank
us
you.
live tonight. Happy birthday, Dre.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. So, and an orgasm a day. I think that's a good deal. Have you had an
Master
orgasm
Josh.
today? Have you had your orgasm today?
I
Master Joshua, thank you so much. Go to our Patreon site to be a member. We're going to be talking about, you're going to be sick of us. This whole like PBS thing is going to be like inundated, but that's okay. You're going to get really
But you're still going to have a great time on this show.
Go to patreon.com/talk about gay sex. Thank you for joining us live. And continue
you.
telling us your goals for this semester because we and it's a joke, but sexuality really is important and we take it seriously here.
We do.
And we will continue to give you quality content on gay sexuality.
And more
then
so on the
some.
Patreon page.
Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, Steve. And in the
Of
meantime, what
course.
are we doing? We're having
Hot gay sex.
Woo! Thank you.
Yay! Cheers, queers.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you so
birthday.
much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
This is exciting, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.